Ladies and gentlemen, Democrats have had enough of New York's governor. And this is the New York Times. Well, actually, before we get to the New York Times, Ron Kim, Assembly member Ron Kim holds rally outside City Hall, calls on Cuomo to account for the horrendous decision-making. This is just one article. Ron Kim says Cuomo needs to share blame. And he's also, this Democratic politician, assembly member, has stated that Cuomo should be impeached. This is a Democrat, a Democrat in New York going up against Tammany Hall in a machine. Democratic voters in New York have had enough of the governor's horrendous, just despicable decision-making. Now you have a second accusation against Cuomo, which is in the New York Times, so you can go ahead, just type in his name. Second former aide, New York Times, New York Post, CNN. A second person has come out and stated, so you have Democrats, it's interesting. There was an article in a publication that published the Steele dossier about Madison Caulfield, and they interviewed 36, I think it's probably over 36 people associated with him. No criminal accusations, they couldn't find any information pertaining to a complaint, a formal complaint. Nobody who worked with Madison Caulfield in a business setting or in a political setting, okay? But they got 36, you better believe they found 36 people who could corroborate allegations against him because you know what? He's a really bad person for standing with Trump. This has to do with people that Cuomo worked with, okay? Where's the 36 people who can corroborate? Where's the emphasis on trying to find out whether friends and family and individuals who know the people who've accused him back the story? Where's the 36 people? I mean, when Democrats or liberals or Democratic, when publications that are Democratic, like public relations, like they're part of the public relations apparatus, when they want to go after a Republican, and they say, well, Al Franken resigned. Yeah, there was a photo of him. It wasn't, someone's word versus his word. There was a photo of him. That photo did him in. The difference between an Al Franken and a Madison Caulfield, or even or Trump, or the difference I should say between Biden and Trump is that Biden had a criminal report in a police criminal report filed by Miss Reed. Trump hasn't had that. They say, well, he admitted in a hot mic, yet nobody has ever accused him of that specific act, yet they accused Biden of that specific act. Now you have Andrew Cuomo, and Democrats have had enough of him. And we know this because the New York Times is going after him. CNN is actually, for once, kind of doing its job. They have to. You're talking about, these are stories, ladies and gentlemen, that are going to come out. Hit subscribe to this channel because people are talking about this, but they don't. I don't think people realize what President Trump. Like, hit subscribe to this channel. You can read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, The Daily Caller, other publications. You can see my debates. I don't think people realize what's going on. All of the propped up, he had a book. Like Josh Hawley had a book deal, that's gone. Cuomo, His decision-making directly led to thousands upon thousands of lives because of his decisions being lost. He still wrote a book on leadership lessons. They propped him up. And now you have President Trump, who is, thank God he's not on Twitter, because his Twitter presence overshadows his accomplishments. Trump presided over really amazing things. He presided over, there was record low unemployment throughout most of his tenure. Go look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The link is below in the pinned comment. The top 12 states, top 11 states, and then you add D.C. So 11 states, and then you add 12 Democratic strongholds of this country lead the country. The top 12, literally from 1 to 12 of the highest unemployment rates are Democratic-run states. New York and New Jersey, and God bless the people of New York and New Jersey, have not only suffered the most in terms of the pandemic, have had the greatest aggregate number of lives lost according to the New York Times statistics, but they also had the worst economy. Like I said, God bless the people of New York and New Jersey. I've only known the most amazing people in New York and New Jersey. But they deserve better than Murphy and Cuomo. So it's interesting. Trump has been vilified, and he fed them, through his Twitter account, he fed them everything they needed. Perception, the media was able to fabricate and sweep under the rug and erase not only Trump's accomplishments, but the sins of New York's governor, the sins of other governors, the sins of New Jersey's governor, the sins of governors throughout the country that presided over the worst outcomes the past year. Go look at the numbers and the statistics. This shouldn't have been a blue state versus red state issue, or it shouldn't have been, it's all Trump presided, because other people presided also. When they blame one president, can you tell me what President Biden's doing to save people's lives? I want to know. I want to know what he's doing to protect democracy. What, his foreign policy? It took him 1 month to engage in the same tactics that President Obama and Bush engaged in. We shouldn't be in those locations of the world. That's what drives me. I've written against counterinsurgency conflicts. Go to hagoodman.com. There's a section there. Roanoke Times, The Hill, the Huffington Post, the Jerusalem Post. Those are my articles that I've written against counterinsurgency conflicts. That's the biggest issue we face as a country, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what drives me. That's why I voted for President Trump, in addition to other reasons. But you look at this, you look at the way that they propped up New York's governor. And I've been talking about this. If you just had a functioning brain cell, you knew that New York has been mismanaged. And it's not just Cuomo, it's de Blasio too. I mean, then de Blasio is going after Cuomo. They're all this is like the Lincoln Project imploded. They're now completely and utterly disgraced. You have Democrats in New York tired. They're tired of the governor. And it only took a year of mismanagement, and he almost got away with it. He really almost got away with it. His brother works at CNN, and then his brother's on tape with Michael Cohen saying the media is not your friend. Yeah, the media is not your friend. These journalists look, the days of Ted Koppel, Peter Jennings, David Brinkley, the days when it was 2000 and nobody knew if Gore or Bush, Gore versus Bush, nobody knew who was going to win to the last second, or they thought, actually for a second they thought it was Gore. The days where media and journalists and TV and pundits on TV were removed from the outcome, those days are long gone. I think they officially ended about 5 years ago. Maybe even 8 years ago. And without media, you have objective reality. Like, without media and journalists propping up New York's governor, don't you think that people would have scrutinized him? Don't you think that, let's say his decision-making would have been scrutinized long before what's taking place right now? So you have 2 allegations against him of misconduct from people who worked with him. Where are the liberal publications saying we spoke to 30 people, 40 people? Oh man, they go after, when they want to pump a narrative, we spoke to 50 people. You could find 20 to 30 people who, these intrepid journalists, if you want to find, you could find 30 people, you could find 30 people that don't like somebody anytime you want, because you could simply, you're not going to give the sources, number one. You're not going to give the names of these people. Number two, so you don't even know if like, you know, a hit piece comes out and it's a Democratic publication versus a Republican or a Bernie Sanders supporter. Okay, the Daily Beast went after me when I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. They published an unethical hit piece on me, riddled with inaccuracies. And the Washington Post called me the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters. My writing was going viral when I was on the left, in the Hill, the Huffington Post, and Salon. But they didn't like that. So if you're on the left, and then when I became a supporter of President Trump, it was like a lot easier. The left is like this boiling cauldron of discontent. But what happens is when they want to go after somebody, could be a Bernie Sanders supporter, could be a Trump supporter, could be, generally it'll be a Republican that sides with Trump. They pull out all the stops. We spoke to 36 people. We spoke to 40 people who can corroborate the gossip and hearsay. 2 people who worked with New York's governor have already come out and said, yeah, he's guilty of misconduct. Where's the investigation of 30 to 40 people who can corroborate their allegations? You're probably not going to find one in these liberal publications. You're probably not going to see. So all of this is coming. The fact that this is all coming out now is astounding. And we saw with Caligula, Biden's son, now they're kind of, well, you know what, right after, by the way, it wasn't infiltrated. The emails are probably legitimate. And, by the way, federal attorneys are going after Caligula and going after his taxes. It's a federal probe. You have a federal probe of Biden's son. You have now investigations of New York's governor. You have an implosion of the Lincoln Project, and that nobody wants to even touch them with a 10-foot pole. They're completely disgraced. And every member of they still have a presence on Twitter, but now they're talking about, well, what did they know? Because they went after Jim Jordan for something that he had nothing to do with. These people actually worked with the co-founder that's being investigated now by the FBI. Then you have all, this is just a month. Then you had Biden with his foreign policy debacle the other day. And then you had a deputy press secretary resigning for going after a Politico reporter. Is this what saving democracy is about? I don't know. Is this what saving democracy was supposed to be about? Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now to this channel. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back. Live stream every evening at about 7 p.m. Pacific. Thanks, everybody.